please evaluate the show on its merits.
You are a meathead.
Please give it a chance. And so...
A meathead, dead from the neck up. Meathead.
It's the Muppet Show with a very special guest star, Mr. Jack Black, Lizzo, Tim Meadows, Jen Cobb. Really? Who the f*** is Jen Kober? Okay. Christopher Lloyd and Emmy Sedaris. Yay! And don't miss a special appearance next week by Jay and Silent Bob. Because why the f*** not at this point?
At the bottom. That's what we're here for, guys, to win. That was no goal, you know. They was in the crease.
All right, I need to update my bumper there. Yeah, I love it too. That's why. Let's watch that one again. That's hysterical. Oh, how you doing, everybody? All three of you. How you doing, everybody? It's the Friday Freakout. I don't know if this is going to be a regular feature or I just want to explain a few things about what's going on in this wacky, nutty, freaky country we got here. Well, I enjoy a smoothie.
I'm watching my goalie, my favorite.
Provided Mecca is watching her favorite goalie, Aiden Hill.
That's highlight day.
That's their highlight of her day.
No, his highlight day of his
highlight.
Stanley Cup day.
The Stanley Cup highlight day. Yeah.
Stanley Cup highlight day.
I am enjoying a pineapple mango smoothie made by Miss Mecarandum, actually, who was enjoying her goalie time. So anyway, how is everybody doing out there? The Hockey Harpy, yeah, that's her new name, the Hockey Harpy. Oh boy, how is everybody doing? Let's start with this now. No doubt. You have people around the world. This is the photo taken around the world. No doubt that you have seen this. No doubt you have seen, if I could bring it up here. And I just want to give every little bit more context. Yeah, for much as my benefit is for you, it's for your benefit. Now, listen, I try not to cover politics too much on this channel because I feel it's really not the place for it. There's other people that do it better than I can, and I just want to give a little background and give some context as to what is going on. As much for my benefit as for other people's benefits. I'm doing okay. So. All right. So, what led us to this moment? As everyone knows, we have elections in this country. Seems like every other week there's an election, special election. Special elections. Senate elections. People elect dog catchers in this country, judges, dog countries. There's a variety of different elected positions. Sanitation commissioners. Yeah. Well, that's exactly. Let's just have a good laugh on it. And this just hopefully we can just try to figure out what's going on here. So, okay, like I said, we have an election every few years in this country. In my hometown, New Haven, you have an election for mayor every 2 years. And there's other elected officials, comptroller, like I said, sanitation commissioner, public works commissioner, et cetera. So a lot of stuff alderman, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. A lot of elections go on. All right. Now, funny enough, though, the election system is it election season? Well, I'm going to get to that in a moment. It's always election season in America now. And I'll get to that in a moment. Now, funny enough, in America, in the United States of America, we have no national standards when it comes to elections. Now, what does that mean? It means every state makes the rules as to how it conducts an election, whether that is for mayor, alderman, selectman, garbage commissioner, dog catcher, judge, whatever it is. The states all have their own rules. The only thing we can agree on is that elections take place on the first Tuesday in November. It's a very convoluted and antiquated system. I wish it would change, but that's another discussion. So, what happens? That means each party gets together their slate of candidates, and they put them on the ballot, their local ballots. We vote on them, and the winners get determined by counting the votes, and those are the people that happily or sadly represent us. So what happened? Okay, so we have a system in America called the Electoral College. Now, I'm trying to explain this. Pardon me. I'm trying to explain this to Morbid because he is the de facto overseas representation. just for clarification. So I'm pretending I'm explaining it to you, if you don't mind. So we have something in America, in the United States of America, called the Electoral College. Now, what is that? That means how the election is conducted is that we take the popular vote for a state and we divide it up into precincts within that state based on population. And certain number of electors, quote unquote electors, will take those popular votes and vote for a particular candidate. So we do have a direct election, sort of, but not really. The idea initially was to take the direct vote out of the people's hands for president because they thought it was too important to be trusted to the common folk. Over the years, it's gotten to be more of a formality. But what you have is, and let me bring up an electoral map for everybody, so you can see how. So we can see how it is. Everything is divided up. Now, okay. What we see is, okay, hold on. Let me just. Okay, here we go. Here's an electoral map. All right, you're going to see the red and blue is just to differentiate how the states voted in the last election. Okay, now what we're seeing here is an electoral map of the United States. Now you'll notice that each state here is represented by a number. That number is the number of electoral votes that states award a particular candidate based on population. California has the most. And the states with 3, you see here with 3, those are the less populous states. And those have the minimum number of electoral votes, which is 3. You can only, that's the minimum. It's based on the number of representatives and senators, really. I mean, that's what we learned in school. Yeah, California's most, Texas has the second most, Florida has 29, New York has 29, Pennsylvania has 20. My state, Connecticut, has 7, New Jersey 14, Delaware 3, Maryland 3, Minnesota 10, Wisconsin 10, Illinois 20. But here's the thing: you need 270 votes to win the presidential election. You only need to win a handful of states to become president. You're seeing these blue states here; those are the states that Biden won, Georgia being one of them. Conceivably, because California has population of 38 million people, those electoral votes count. You don't get any bonus votes for having a higher population. So you could conceivably win an election with fewer popular votes but more electoral votes. This is what happened in 2000. It happened in 2016. Well, I enjoyed the last of my smoothie. Now, there's people that want to reform this. They want to go to direct popular vote, but the case against that is that they always say, well, then the more populated areas will be deciding for the rest of the country. I'm like, okay, yeah, but you know what? The more populated areas already do that. I mean, as you can tell by the map, the more populated states, California, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, Illinois, Michigan. Pardon. Now, Nebraska splits its electoral votes. That's unusual. But the more populated states already do that. And you know what? We don't live on farms anymore. The majority of people have not lived in rural areas since the turn of the last century, the 1900s. So yeah, so this is a system that is out of date. This is a system that is seriously out of date. At the very minimum, funny down here, our Liberal Party blue is the right wing. Labor is our left wing. I have to flip it for American politics. Yeah, well, that's very interesting. Well, the red and blue is only so that they show up differently on color television. That's really how it started. So okay. So back to where was going. So in 2016, you had a situation where, let me bring up the 2016 map. In 2016, you had a situation again where what 20 no, that's not the map I'm looking for. Where is the 2016 map? Here's the 2016 map. Okay, here is the 2016 map. So in 2016, you had a situation where the lesser popular states had accumulated enough votes for the winner so that it would win without the popular vote, as you can see. But you had only a few states were flipped: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Those three states were the key battleground states, as they called them. We had Trump 316, 306. We had Clinton 232. Okay, listen, I personally feel that Hillary Clinton was a terrible candidate. Okay, she should not have run. She should not have ran for president. I was more in favor of Bernie Sanders running for president, but that's neither here nor there now. But she was a terrible candidate. So 2016, we have this situation, okay? And we all know what happened. 4 years later, we come back to it. And we have a president, a very unpopular president in the White House, who is, quite frankly, using his office to enrich himself. Now, listen, people are going to say, I don't care about Hunter Biden. Okay, that's neither here nor there right now. But you had a situation with Saudi Arabia paid $2 billion to his son-in-law for a golf tournament. You had people staying at his hotels, overcharging the Secret Service for facilities. Okay, you have a guy, and okay, once you grab power like that, you're not going to want to give it up. Listen, I'm just saying facts here, okay, people. So he starts squawking about how, oh yeah, are you going to you might have heard the phrase peaceful transfer of power. Okay, it's sort of a tradition in America where that the loser of an election graciously calls and concedes and congratulates, and he says, "Thank you very much. It is quite an honor to serve, and best of luck." Not the case this time. We start hearing conspiracy theories about how the election is rigged. The election is rigged. It's totally rigged system. Meanwhile, not really given any proof. It's a rigged system. They're coming to get in, and this all culminates in the election of 2020. Is 71 million people voted. 71 million people voted. I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, but 81 million people voted for the other guy, or whatever. 83 million people voted for the other guy. Biggest turnout ever. So what happens is, and how we get to this point is that the President of the United States at the time, Donald Trump, starts using the levers of power to try and stay in office. He calls the Attorney General of Georgia, says, all I need to do is find 11,807 votes. I mean, give me a break. This is, I can't, and he starts pressuring him to overturn the election results in Georgia. Let me bring up the map again. He starts applying pressure, starts using the office to apply pressure to these people, to people in charge. And inevitably, what happens is they come up with a scheme. All the people that have been implicated, Rudy Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, Steve Bannon, they come up with a scheme that they are going to send from these states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania. They are going to substitute the electors in the Electoral College that are supposed to vote for Joe Biden with their own electors, claiming they're illegitimate. We have an alternate slate of electors, and we're going to send them instead, which is illegal. And then he applies pressure to the vice president, Mike Pence, because the vice president is supposed to just oversee the Electoral College vote. He doesn't have any authority to enforce anything. And so what Donald Trump does is he tries to apply pressure to Mike Pence to throw out the electors, to throw out the results. Mike, you got to do this for me. Mike, do the right thing, Mike. Do the right thing. I'm sorry, Mr. President, I can't do that. I don't have a Mike Pence impression. Just find some votes. They're under the couch. Just find them. I don't care where you find them. Just find them. It could be in the cookie jar. Listen, who knows? So he starts applying pressure to Mike Pence. Mike, you got to do this for me, Mike. You got to make the right call, Mike. I'm sorry, Mr. President, I can't do that. Mike, you got to do this for me. I'm sorry, can't do that. So Mike Pence does the right thing. And what happens is the events of January 6th happen. I'm not going to say who's right or wrong. Just the events of January 6th happen. So we all have seen the pictures. We've all seen the pictures. I mean, a lot of people doing some, it was pretty, I never thought I'd see a day like this in this country. The crowd was close to actually hanging Mike Pence. They were close to hang. They had erected a gallows. They were going to hang Mike Pence. Yeah. Chanting, hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence. Okay. That was the White House raid. No, that was actually, yeah. The White House raid is actually another matter. Now, what happened with the White House raid was that, listen, as President of the United States, you are entitled to keep certain documents, ones that do not pertain to anything national security. He took everything with him. He took everything. He stored them in a bathroom, and actually, one of the allegations was that he was selling those secrets to anyone who paid him. Look, okay, that's not a problem. Not a problem. Look, I got this document here. You want to take a little look? See, maybe I can be persuaded. I don't know. Said, Mr. President, give those documents back. Look, they're mine. Okay, I declassified them by just thinking about it. Okay, I declassified them. So the fake elector scheme fails. Okay, now what we're dealing with here now, we've had a 2-year investigation by a man named Jack Smith, who is a federal prosecutor. His
Raymond channels won't tell you this.
no,
They don't tell you any of this.
they don't tell you any of this. I'm trying to just be as factual as possible here. That's the thing. I'm trying to leave any biases I have out of it. I'm trying to be as factual. So a guy by the name of Jack Smith, a prosecutor, a guy with a beard, he's got a nice beard actually, comes along. He looks into this and he finds evidence that what happened was they were trying to overturn an election by illegal means. The everything, the fake elector scheme, the pressuring of the vice president, the pressuring of the attorney general in Georgia, everything. 91 counts. As indictment, they've indicted him on 91 counts. Homeboy might die in prison. That's the thing here. And that's the thing that has him so scared. I mean, we're looking at jail time. We could possibly be looking at jail time for a former president, and that to me is shocking. That we have gotten to this point where a former president has been charged.
Well, I didn't vote for him. I care.
Well, listen, regardless of who you vote for, okay? Regardless of who you vote for, this is the long and short of it. A former president committed a crime while in office.
I don't care anymore.
How much jail time? He's looking at least 80 years. 80 years.
They all commit crimes, so that's the thing.
Well, okay.
I'm like, I'm over it. They all commit crimes.
Let me see. How much jail time could Trump serve? If he's found guilty on all accounts, he could. Wow, this is a lot. 641 years in prison. But with good behavior, he could cut that time in half. Now, listen, the whole thing is, hey, Ricardo, how you doing? One of the biggest problems we have here is this. Now, for the people who say it's unfair, this is unfair, they're prosecuting, this is unfair, I did nothing wrong. And to his detriment, he cannot keep his big fat mouth shut. Now, okay, in case you haven't seen it, I'm going to play the speech he gave after he got his mugshot taken. And we're going to see exactly what kind of fantasy world we're dealing with here. Okay.
To the members of the media who have been assembled, we are obviously going to listen in. Let's take it.
Here he comes. Okay.
This is a very sad day for America. This should never happen. If you challenge an election, you should be able to challenge an election.
Okay. The issue here is not challenging an election. You have a right to challenge an election through legal means. What you don't have the right to do is to say, hey, Mike, throw out the election results and send these people who are loyal to me there to vote in their stead. That is the issue here.
I thought the election was a rigged election, a stolen election.
You need to do that to get him out, though?
This did what?
Didn't they kind of do the same thing though? They had their guys throw out the evidence.
Throw out the
No,
evidence.
I don't know. I'm just
And I should have every right to do that.
Yeah.
As you know, you have many people that you've been watching over the years do the same thing, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Stacey Abrams or many others. When you
So look, this is actually all the while. Yeah, he crashed a riot, pretty much. Crashed a right. Pretty much, he obfuscates any responsibility because I did nothing wrong. Okay, I did nothing wrong. Hey, I just tried to use my office to stay in. Yeah, president for life. I thought you people wanted that.
have that great freedom to challenge, you have to be able to. Otherwise, you could have very dishonest elections. What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong.
And again, I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. Okay, very dishonest.
And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones, too. What they're doing is election interference. They're trying.
No, it's not election interference. It's called prosecuting a crime. Okay.
To interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our.
Nobody interfered with the election. Nobody. Okay, here's the thing. Nobody interfered with the election. You interfered with the election. Okay, the evidence points to you interfering with the election by trying to throw out the slate of electors. And if we had a popular vote in this country, this wouldn't be a problem. Our election system is set up for 1803, not 2023.
Entertainment. If you think it's all botted for entertainment, guess what? It's gonna be politics.
That's the real problem here.
Our country before. This is their way of campaigning. And this is one instance, but you have three other instances. It's election interference. So I want to thank you for being here. He did nothing wrong at all. And we have every right, every single right to challenge an election that we think is dishonest.
Well, okay, you have the right to challenge the election, but you know, like again, yeah, he got caught with his hand in the cook. Yeah, I'm innocent. I'm totally innocent. Okay. I'm totally innocent. He got quite literally caught. Yeah, his hand got caught in the cookie jar. Yeah, and a lot of people are going to go to jail. So again, he's not the one. He's not the only one here. These are, excuse me. So here is also who you have. Hold on. Let's continue with this for a moment, okay?
We think it's very dishonest. So thank you all very much, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you very much.
I want to bring in Ken.
Okay, so there it is. There is attempt to obfuscate. So for anyone thinking that this is only him, here is a picture. Yeah, that's unfortunately that is his problem. He can't keep his mouth shut. I did nothing wrong. Okay, now get off of her. The big fear I have was that January 20th, 2025, after an election, you'd have two people showing up waiting to be sworn in. That's the big fear I have. So, but anyway, for anyone thinking it's just him, okay, listen, here's his mugshot. Who else is involved? Rudy Giuliani. This guy, John Charles Eastman. This is the main architect of the fake elector scheme, of the fake electors plot. He was the guy that said, oh yeah, there'll be no plea deal. Mark Randall Meadows. Now, from what I know, this guy has flipped. This guy's singing like a canary. Kenneth Cheesebro allegedly crafted a fake elector scheme. This is a guy who was trying to put the whole thing together. Jeffrey Bozak Clark, Attorney General, Justice Department, Environmental Division, consider installing Clark as acting Attorney General to do his bidding. Jenna Lynn Ellis, Former member of Donald Trump's legal team accused of lying to politicians and election officials in Georgia, helping line up a false slate of electors in an attempt to change the outcome of the election. Ellis is facing 2 felony charges violating Georgia RICO Act, solicitation of oath, a violation of oath by a public officer. She agreed to $100,000 bond. Ray Stallings Smith III, Atlanta-based attorney, serves Trump legal counsel, is accused of falsely testifying about election fraud. So this guy actually, I think it was, is it this guy? I think it is. I think it's this guy who changes. No, it's not that guy. The head of security at Mar-a-Lago, who said that that they weren't trying to change the security camera footage to sneak the documents. Yeah, no, that's not true. They did try to change the security footage. Robert David Cheeley, partner Georgia-based Cheeley Law Group. Video showed falsely claimed to show evidence of vote rigging. Video has actually shown election workers counting ballots only once, and any evidence of fraud has been debunked. Facing 10 felony counts, violating Georgia RICO Act, conspiracy to commit impersonation of a public official. 2 counts conspiracy, commit forgery. Michael Roman, former Trump official, campaign official, involved in the so-called fake elector scheme by which allies would falsely claim that, falsely certify that Trump had won when he had not. And that was the other thing. They were going to just say that he won. They were going to say that he won. So, again, more of the gang who couldn't shoot straight. David James Schaefer, former Georgia Republican Party, former Georgia state senator. Schaefer played a key role in the fake elector scheme, allegedly convening 16 fake electors in Georgia state capitol in December 2020, where they signed a certificate falsely proclaiming that Trump won the state, even though Joe Biden won the popular vote in Georgia. Schaefer also served as a fake elector, signing the certificate himself. Faces 8 felony charges, violating Georgia RICO Act, impersonating a public officer, 2 counts of forgery in the first degree, 3 counts of false statements and writings, criminal attempt to commit false statements and writings, was granted $75,000 bond. Sean Micah Tresher Still. Sean Still, current Georgia state senator, represented Atlanta in the suburbs of January 2023. Prosecutors say he acted as one of the 16 fake electors. Signed certificate falsely proclaiming Trump had won Georgia, which he had not. Still faces felony charges, violating the RICO Act, impersonating a public officer. So these are the fake electors. Stephen Lee, Chicago-based pastor, whom prosecutors say tried to pressure a Georgia elections worker named Ruby Freeman to falsely admit that election was fraudulent. After Lee came to her Georgia home, knocked on the door, Freeman called 911. With the body camera footage showing Lee saying he was attempting to get some truth on what's going on. While sitting in his car outside the woman's home, he allegedly recruited Harrison Floyd to help him get through to Freeman. Lee faces 5 felony charges, Georgia RICO Act, 2 counts criminal attempt to commit influencing witnesses, conspiracy to commit solicitation, false statements and writings, and influencing witnesses. He was the last defendant to turn himself in, arriving shortly before the deadline. He was granted $75,000 bond. Harrison William Prescott Floyd. Floyd was a leader of the Black Voices for Trump, allegedly involved in the pressure campaign on Georgia election workers Ruby Freeman. Floyd was allegedly recruited by Stephen Lee to help influence Freeman before then recruiting publicist Trevian Cuddy to join. There's Trevian Cuddy, celebrity publicist, once represented Kanye West and R. Kelly, accused in the indictment of attempting to influence the testimony of a Georgia election worker, Ruby Freeman. Cuddy allegedly suggested that Freeman was in danger and offered to help, later advising Freeman to falsely confess to fabricated allegations of election fraud. Cuddy is charged with 3 felony counts, violating the RICO Act, influencing witnesses, conspiracy to commit solicitation. Yeah, these are very serious charges. These are very serious charges. And I'll get to why this is all being done publicly in a minute. Sidney Catherine Powell. She's the lady who said release the Kraken. Attorney Sidney Powell was a vocal Trump ally in the weeks after 2020 election, appearing alongside Giuliani to espouse bizarre conspiracy theories, including that voting systems in the U.S. actually had ties to the late Venezuelan autocrat Hugo Chavez and were secretly capable of switching, creating, and destroying massive amounts of votes. According to the indictment, Powell was in direct contact with the Trump supporters who illegally breached election equipment in Coffee County. That was the other thing. They were ready to use the military to seize voting machines in Coffee County, Georgia. Prosecutors argue that Powell tried to access voting data in the county to support the conspiracy theory that Trump had won the election. At one point, even having a computer forensics team copy data and software from elections equipment there on January 7, 2021, one day after the deadly riot in the U.S. Capitol. Powell faces 7 felony charges, violating the RICO Act, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit election fraud, conspiracy to commit computer theft, conspiracy to commit computer trespass, conspiracy to commit computer invasion of privacy, conspiracy to defraud the state. Her bond was set at $100,000. Kathleen Alston Latham. Kathleen Latham is a former chair of the Coffee County Republican Party and was one of the 16 Republicans who serve as fake electors in Georgia, signed paperwork falsely claiming that Trump won the state. Prosecutors argue that she allowed Trump to access data restricted. So, okay. Latham faces 11 felony charges, violating the RICO Act, impersonating a public officer, forgery in the first degree, false statements and writings, criminal attempt to commit filing false documents, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit election fraud, conspiracy to commit computer theft, conspiracy to commit computer trespass, conspiracy to commit computer invasion of privacy, and conspiracy to defraud the state. She was granted $75,000 bond. I'm going to be honest, please, and chat, don't hate me, but I do not like any type of politician left or right. Especially, I hate Donald Trump. Worst thing that happened to America. Well, you're not wrong. Those people are lucky they didn't kill anybody during Capitol. That is actually, yeah, a couple people did die though. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Yeah, what the fuck is right? What the fuck is right? It got this far. Hey, look, it's Ethan Van Sciver. Just kidding. Just kidding. Hold on. Seth Graham Hall, Scott Graham Hall, an Atlanta Bay Area bail bondsman, was the first of 19 defendants to be processed in Fulton County Jail when he surrendered to authorities on August 22nd. He was allegedly involved in the Coffee County, Georgia voting system breach of the 2020 election. Hall is charged with 7 felony counts, violating the Georgia RICO Act, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit election fraud, conspiracy to commit computer theft, conspiracy to commit computer trespass, conspiracy to commit computer invasion of privacy to defraud the state. Hall's bond was set at $10,000. Misty Hampton, and this is the last one. Misty, also known as Emily Misty Hayes, was an election supervisor in Coffee County, who was allegedly present in the county election office at the time, January 7, 2021 breach. She was later seemingly caught on surveillance video following 2 men into the office who had been challenging 2020 election results. Hampton faces 7 felony charges, violating the Georgia RICO Act, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit election fraud, conspiracy to commit computer theft, conspiracy to commit computer trespass, conspiracy to commit computer invasion of privacy, conspiracy to defraud the state. Her bond was set at $10,000. So that is pretty much, is all the people involved in this scam here. Now, honestly, I don't care what anybody's politics are. Truly bothers me so long as we can have discussion, anything left, right, center. Yeah, that's unfortunately, we've completely lost sight of that. We've completely lost sight of that in this country. And we have, listen, for the people who say, For people who say, "Well, it's they're all bad," I'm like, well, okay, well, first of all, one of the things is this. One of the things is this. You have to. We have listen. Granted, the two-party system in America is completely antiquated. We need a better way. We need a better way in this country. We honestly do. What that is, what that's going to take right now, I don't know. But first thing we have to do is we have to get rid of the electoral college system. Because what happens if you don't have anybody who gets to 270 votes, it goes to the House of Representatives. And the House of Representatives are going to vote for whomever has the whatever letter is next to their name. That is the inherent problem. So we do need election reform in this country. Okay. The other thing too is we have, and I'm just being 100% honest here. For the people who say we have both parties are the same, that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, this is me showing a little bit of my bias, but okay, we're going to show a little bit of bias here, but the difference is now between the Democrats and the Republicans is that we have one party that says, the Democratic Party says, oh yeah, you know what? We hear you. You know, you have some concerns, but it's all flowery language. They pretend to hear you a lot of times. They really don't, but they pretend to hear you, but at least they're somewhat interested in governing. And then we have another party, the Republicans, who say, yeah, we just don't fucking care anymore. We don't fucking care. Now your kid's starving? You're going to die without, yeah. Oh, you say you're going to die without health care? Well, yeah, you better die quickly. Be a cheap funeral. That's where we are right now. We have one party in this country arguing about Bud Light sending a beer to a trans woman while we have real problems in this country. We have real problems. Listen, I've traveled overseas. And there's people that actually were very angry that I did so. But it actually does help you to open your eyes and see your nation, your country in a different light. Yeah, okay. You know what? Things aren't perfect over in a lot of places. They have problems, but it seems they have a better way of dealing with them. House of Misrepresentatives, is that a new form of techno? Should be. What's up, Sander Hammerslag? How you doing? Thank you for indulging. I like to thank everyone for indulging me in this. This is a cathartic thing here. Now, here's the other problem. And Morbid, you were saying about it's election season. Now, what's happened is in 2010, we had a decision in the Supreme Court of the United States called Citizens United. That has said that money equals speech and corporations are quote unquote people. And what that has done is it has opened the floodgates for unlimited amounts of spending in the world, in the U.S. elections. You have people like the Koch brothers, the Koch network, Sheldon Adelson, and Peter Thiel, and all those people, and Eric Prince. They just funnel money into these political coffers so that they can just get the laws written to their liking. You have things like ALEC, the American Legislative Action Council, whatever it's called. They literally write bills and just give them to the people they donate to. And because we have Citizens United now, which we have to get rid of with this Supreme Court, a fat chance. You're seeing now what happens is when I was a kid, the election season used to run from February of that year to November. Okay. Then you get time off Okay, all right, cool, yeah, all right, and we're dealing with it. And then around November, you start thinking. November of the previous the year before the election, you start thinking about it. And then again, January, February rolls around. Then you start paying attention. Now it's just nonstop. It's just nonstop. And that really needs to fucking end. That really does need to fucking end. We have that shit down here too. All the money's funneled to campaigns. Screw the rest of us. Honestly, politicians are just there to be part of history. Yeah, that's unfortunately what they lose sight of. So without getting too preachy, listen, I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, okay? But at the same time, we got to get the money out of politics. We need some serious reform, and we need some serious legislative action in this country. We got problems with healthcare. We got problems with wages. People can't afford to live. People can't afford to buy groceries. And we got one party arguing about Mr. Potato Head. We have one party trying to dissolve a public library in a town in Washington State. I have an uncle that is Asian. He is from Laos. He thinks this is all bullshit. That happens in America. Stupid because what had to grow up. Yeah. We the people go for that. Well, listen, it's going to take somebody with courage that's a good question. It's going to take somebody with the courage to stand up and willing to sacrifice their entire career to enact some real change. Change is difficult. Change brings uncertainty. Change brings change is scary, But there's got to be one person to be able to stand up, and say, hey, we need to change things. We can't do this. We can't keep doing this, because if they don't do it, then you know what? Things are just going to get worse. The rhetoric and the everything's going to get more extreme. Things are just as bad over here in the U.S. Same as saying of trivial matters, while the real issues such as refugees, needless war, poverty, education, healthcare aren't tackled. Well, listen, there's a guy by the name of Steve Bannon who's trying to bring that sort of thing to overseas, and he's trying to make inroads in Italy and other places. We got to warn you guys about that. Okay, he's trying to bring that sort of right-wing extremism to Europe. And I'm hoping he's not going to be successful, but who knows? But something has to change at some point. Yeah, right. Listen, we had a situation in the United States of America in the 30s, in the Great Depression. We elected FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Now, for those watching overseas, Franklin Delano Roosevelt enacted a lot of reforms. If you listen to a man named Richard Wolff, who's an economist, he can explain a lot better than I can. But what happened was FDR wanted to propose a lot of new programs in what was called the New Deal. So FDR went to the billionaires. Listen, he wanted to do a jobs program, didn't have the money. He wanted to do education, didn't have the money. Wanted to do all kinds of programs, didn't have the money. Wanted to build roads, didn't have the money. So he went to the wealthy, the people, the wealthy people in America. He said, "You are going to give me this money in the form of taxes, And then I'm going to let you keep some of it, and you're going to like it, because you see the communists over there? I'm going to let you keep some of it. I'm going to let you keep most of it. The communists, they're going to take it all. And they have been, and they, meaning the upper class, the billionaires, they've been angry about that ever since, which is why they keep wanting to undo the New Deal. They want to undo things like Social Security. They want to undo Medicare. They want to undo Medicaid. But at some point, I mean, listen, we're due for massive change in this country. It really is. It's time for America 2.0. It really is. It really is. And you're right. Something does have to change at some point, because we cannot go down this road again. We cannot go down this road. We're just getting more and more extreme. We really are. We're just getting more extreme, and we're losing touch with reality. We're losing touch with what's important. And again, we have one party in this country that just does not want to govern. They don't want to govern. And when they we saw what happened when they had control of the Congress and the presidency. They did nothing. They did nothing with it. I like to ask people who are Trump supporters, apart from the why, but I like to ask them, can you name one legislative, besides the tax cut, can you name one legislative accomplishment that they had while they were in power? And you get things like, well, I like it when football players have to stand for the national anthem. I don't like CRT. I like it when that we could say Merry Christmas again. And I remind them, listen, those aren't legislative accomplishments. That's not legislation. That's not policy. Well, it's not about what they do. It's about how they make me feel. We're totally missing the point. At this point, I would take Jeremy Clarkson for president. Yeah, Morbid, that's the thing. Most of these guys fail. Most of these autocrats fail. Listen, we're coming up on about an hour. I'd like to thank everyone, first of all, for bearing with me as I try to explain this and try to make sense of this. Getting people out of jail for the first offenses bill that was introduced to promote black entrepreneurs, black business. Yeah, that is actually. See, as someone overseas, you actually know more than a lot of people do. We're at the point a lot of people don't know what the three branches of government are in America: legislative, the judicial, executive. A lot of people don't know what they do. A lot of people don't know what the president actually does. A lot of people don't know what the Congress does. Build a wall. They couldn't even do that. Well, okay, I'm going to try. I try. I try my best to bring a perspective to this that hopefully people miss. So, let me say, I try my best. Don't always get that across, but if people wanted to call me meathead, put Richard Hammond in charge of safety. There's that time they went over his house. Oh, look, he's got an American flag outside. He's got a Mustang. This is Richard Hammond's house. Hammond wants to be a cowboy so bad. Okay, let me ask you a question. Would you guys like to see me play No Man's Sky? Would you like to see Black Shaggy in space? Making healthcare more available for those who are hurt most by Obamacare. Okay, well, but here's the part about Obamacare that a lot of people don't understand. Here's one of the things about the AC. First of all, the proper name is the Affordable Care Act. Okay, I kind of wish people would say that more, because it's Obamacare there seems to be a lot of confusion about Obamacare. People do say, I like the ACA, I like the Affordable Care Act, but I hate Obamacare. Well, it's the same thing. What happened was the Republicans, in an effort to kill Obamacare, kill the ACA, they started chipping away at it. They cut the senator by the name of Marco Rubio from Florida wrote a bill to cut the risk corridors. They ended the subsidies, the CSR subsidies from the White House. They did a lot of things to chip away at, but they couldn't fully kill it. And now what's happened is we have, for the first time, we have people actually strengthening the ACA. They cut the enrollment period. They cut the advertising to try to get fewer people enrolled. I said from the beginning, listen, well, just change the name. If Trump wanted to win, just change the name of the ACA, change it from Obamacare to Trump Care. Leave everything the same. And you'll be a big freaking hero. But no, they didn't. He listened to an idiot. And listen, I'm letting some of my lefty bias come through. He listened to an idiot like Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan wrote a healthcare plan that was literally designed to fail. Literally, it was designed to fail. Paul Ryan is an idiot. Okay? Paul Ryan, the former representative, former Speaker of the House from Wisconsin, he is an idiot. And I have no qualms about saying that. He did nothing. He did nothing to rein in a rogue president. He did nothing to try and help people. He just sat there. Oh yeah, let's just let him sign legislation. Yeah, okay, fine. All right, yeah. See how far they get you, moron. And I'm gonna tell you something. Here's what a lot of people don't tell you about the whole fight behind the ACA. Obama had 60 votes, okay, in the Senate. He could have just said, you know what, we're doing single payer. You're going to get in line, or I'm going to ruin anyone who votes against this. I'm going to make sure you're never elected. I'm going to go to your state. I'm going to campaign against you and make sure you're never elected senator again. He could have done that, but he didn't. What he did was he tried to negotiate with the Republican Party. First of all, you don't try to negotiate with the Republican Party because it's like playing chess with a pigeon. Even if you do win, they'll knock the pieces over and shit on the board. What he did was he went to the Republican caucus with the compromise plan, which is the ACA, which was a plan developed literally by the Heritage Foundation. It was a plan Nixon came up with in the 70s. He said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to them with the compromise plan, and then they're going to have to come back with something better. They didn't. The only thing better than that would have been single payer. The only thing better than that would have been single payer. And they said, you know what? Nope, sorry. Our compromise is nothing. They literally said, no, we're not. We're just against it. They came back with nothing. The big mistake Obama made was that they were going to be reasonable and come back with a viable option. They didn't. And Senator Joe Lieberman, that stupid asshole, that fuck, who was my senator for years, I couldn't vote against him enough. Joe Lieberman killed the public option for the Affordable Care Act. Thank you very much, droopy dog. So that was the big mistake. Am I glad that there's at least something? Yes. Could it be better? Definitely. And we are supposed to sort of work our way towards single payer. Who knows how long that's going to take in this country? And which is why I envy people in Europe and people like you, like in Australia or Morbid. You have a system in place where that, hey, if you get into a car accident, you don't have to worry. Ambulance right to the hospital. If you're in a car accident, it'll cost you $3,000. In some places.
I'm insulted that people think that I have to care more about children's genitals than me
Yeah.
not having health care.
We're arguing, we're arguing about.
I'm really insulted by that.
We're arguing about what bathrooms to use in this country.
And what pronouns they are.
What
They
pronouns?
Go fuck themselves if they're arguing about that. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, so
They
we need-
They're not smart enough for my channel. They need to subscribe to my channel.
So we need shots. We need shots in this country. We really do. We really need to be snapped back to reality. And I'm going to close. Listen, I've been at this for an hour. Hopefully everybody's learned something. And if you haven't, sorry to waste your time. But
I'm taking lunch.
okay, cool. It's lunchtime?
Yeah, it's 11:30. I'm hungry. I'm just
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, we have it lucky down here. In that case, it's not perfect, but at least you have this thing in place where you can go and see. And ultimately, one of the reasons why they don't want single payer healthcare is because if an employer ropes you in by giving you better medical benefits, they want to be able to keep you working for them for slave wages. They don't want you.
You don't even get health care with employees anymore. Unless
No.
You are literally enslaved to that company.
Exactly. They don't want you to have the freedom to change jobs and not stay in a job because, well, I have benefits. And a lot of people actually have to stay in a bad, low-paying job because they have medical benefits. It's a way to enforce servitude. Yeah, I would cut off my left testicle for a system like the National Health Service in this country. And then I'd be able to get an implant to replace it. I want those big Harry Palmer glasses like you guys get at National Health. Can I get some of those? I'm 8 minutes behind. It looks like I'm in chat. You're probably lagging. Okay. All right. Everyone, I'm going to end it there. I'm going to suffice to say, yeah, we need some changes in this country. Hopefully we'll have them.
Should I run for president?
Oh, I would be a horrible president.
No, me.
We both be. I get to be your chief of staff.
No.
So would everyone like to see Black Shaggy in space? Would everyone like to see Black Shaggy roaming the universe, just terraforming shit?
I am No Man's Sky if you want that to happen.
Yeah. Go to CD Keys and buy me No Man's Sky if you want. If you want. Go to Black Shaggy. Black Shaggy in space. Wow. The one thing that I did not agree with the Obama administration, I actually had to cut my hours back so I wouldn't have to pay the government for healthcare. Yeah. Oh, yeah. KK would just ruin this thing. All right, everyone. If a Steam key if a Steam key does.
That too. If you have to pay for health care, you can't like that's gonna cut into like 90% of your pay. That was the problem I was having, was how much of my pay was gonna have to go to goddamn health care.
But being in South Texas, a lot of people buys healthcare and child support, food, card stuff, and they don't want to change because it's easier for the government to pay for it. Well, that's the other thing too. I mean, listen, if we had wages in this country that actually kept pace with inflation, I mean, then
They do for the CEOs and executive
Yeah,
classes and executive
exactly.
classes,
exactly.
but not for
actually the regular schmoes. All right, we're at 1 hour 5 minutes, everyone. I'd like to thank everybody. Like I said, if hopefully I'll be playing Astronaut Space Shaggy at some point. I've been trying to get on CD Keys. It won't let me. All right, everyone. All right, listen. I'm going to end it there. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Hopefully we learned something. Hopefully we can understand each other a little better. Don't take anything personally. I never do. Everyone, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you again this weekend. Okay? Morbid says, have fun tonight.
yeah, hopefully they don't cancel.
Yeah. All right, everyone. We'll catch you next time.